Hello, I'm coming to you from my little box in the corner of the screen because today I want to talk about the subject is the rise of dopamine culture and how everything is getting shorter. Dopamine is the natural drug in your brain that makes you excited. Or when you're excited and happy, you have lots of dopamine in your, you know, firing in your brain. And the argument here is by a guy, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, but it's Ted Gioia. Gioia? I'm sorry, I'm messing up his last name. He's an American guy who writes a very good blog called The Honest Broker. And he was a jazz musician and then teacher, and now he has a popular blog. And he talks about cultural issues. I guess he's an older guy, he's older than me. But so I say that because maybe the idea that he's suggesting sounds like the complaints of all old people. Old people say, "Oh, music today, it's not as good as it used to be," and "Oh, entertainment's not as good as it used to be." And that's what he's saying, that things have changed for the worse in his lifetime. That might be what lots of old people say, but he makes an interesting argument, and the best way to explain it is by looking at this table. That's why I'm in this little box. And he's arguing that culture has become faster and faster and briefer, shorter and shorter, the amount of attention that we spend. So, okay, so he's got, if you have a look at this table along the top, it says the rise of dopamine culture. And along the top, it's got the subject, for example, athletics, the slow traditional culture, fast modern culture, and the dopamine culture, what he's calling the hyper modern, super modern thing. Okay, so the traditional culture is you play a sport. Maybe 50 years ago. Well, still we play sports, of course, but it's something you do in school and then you stop, right? But anyway, his argument is people used to play sports. Then it became you watch sports on TV, or perhaps go to a stadium and watch the sports, but you don't play it anymore. And then it becomes dopamine culture. Gamble on sports. You have using your smartphone, you can bet money on which team will win. The idea is that the enjoyment you get from it gets shorter and shorter and shorter and more intense, but shorter. Another example, journalism. The old days, we used to read newspapers. I used to work for newspapers. Seems crazy now. I mean, how many people actually subscribe to a newspaper? Not many. Now it's modern culture, multimedia, right? People watching on YouTube like this video. But then it becomes clickbait. That's dopamine, where everything is about clicking, clicking. And so you'll never believe what happened. And you click on it and it's something kind of boring. Everything's like trying to get your attention, your quick attention. Next one, video. Used to be film and TV, going to the movies. Still, we do a little bit. Then it moved to video. Now it's reels of short videos. It's 10-second hits or less than 10 seconds, 5-second hits on TikTok, right? Music, we used to listen to albums. Then it became the singles. Now it's TikToks, just a little snippet, a little tiny piece of music. Images, looking at a painting on a wall, gallery wall. Then it's viewing on the phone. So, yeah. And then it's scrolling. So not even spending more than 1 second on a picture. Communication, we used to write handwritten letters. When was the last time you wrote a letter to somebody? I can't remember the last time I wrote a letter. I think, oh my gosh, maybe a year, 2 years ago. A neighbor of mine's husband died. So I wrote a letter. So that's how formal and not common, isn't it? Anyway, then it became voice and email and memos. Okay. And now it's just a send a text. Hey, happy birthday. Ching. Right. Finally, relationships, courtship and marriage. It used to be a very long process, as you know. Meeting somebody to become your life partner. Since the 1960s, I guess, sexual freedom. It's easier to make partners. You don't have to be married. And then now, swipe on an app. I think it's called Tinder. Oh, I like that person. Set up a date. So Now, I don't know how much of this is an old person complaining that the world is going too fast, and we always complain that. But he makes a good argument, and in the text, I quoted from his blog. It makes good sense. But I don't know. What do you think? Let's see. I've got three questions down here. It says, number one, do you spend more time on shorter things? Number two, what can you do to change the culture? Do we need to worry? Is this a bad thing? Number three is kind of like an essay question. Culture always favors simplicity. Discuss. In other words, culture is always looking to make things more simple. Isn't that just normal? Or is it different this time? Interesting thoughts. I don't know. Anyway, have a think about this and I'll see you next time. Okay. Thank you very much.